Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be going into the corrupted network of the HIVE, but before we begin, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, let's jump straight into it. As the Hidden continued in their investigation on Savathun's throne world and the Lucent Brood, Ikora Rey discovered that the relic the Guardian found in Savathun's fortress, the same one that allowed them to forge the glaive, was meant to lure the Guardians further into the Witch Queen's domain. Beyond that, however, Savathun didn't have any other plans for it. Her ghost Amaru, however, had further ambitions for it, planning on creating new, more powerful weapons for the Lucent Brood. Wanting to prevent the HIVE from having enhanced glaive weapons and likely to have a chance to take out Amaru himself, Ikora organizes the Guardians to use osmic fragments to lure Amaru out of hiding, and take out the HIVE ghost supplier in one fell swoop. Taking the fragment they had found in their investigation, the Guardians set up their trap in the Queen's Bailey of the Throne World, where Amaru was conducting a shaping ritual. Though the plan worked in drawing Amaru out, the ghost got away, but the Guardians nonetheless prevented the Lucent Brood from receiving any advanced weapons, ending Amaru's scheme for good. Despite the loss of many of their Lightbearers and Amaru's failure, the Lucent Brood remained active, but operated under the Vanguard's radar, as they contended with the resurgence of nightmares, the return of Callus, and of his intention to become the newest disciple of the Witness. However, following the nightmare containment and preparing for when Callus would make his next move, the Guardians would have to contend with another servant of the Witness, Eramis, the ship stealer, and Kel of House Salvation. Freed from her stasis prison, the Dark Kel was given the order to find relics containing pieces of fallen disciple Nezarec, which were once used by fallen of the old crews. As the Guardian tracked one specific relic, held in the possession of Alakas, the Beast Tamer, they found her lair ransacked and most of Alakas' crew killed. The Guardian and Mithrax wondered who was also seeking the relics, but nonetheless they finished the job by slaying Alakas and claiming the relic. It wouldn't be until the mission to claim the relic held by Viseric the Coward that the Guardian discovered that the Lucent Brood attacking the old crews, revealing themselves to also be seeking the relics, but for what purpose is unknown. Regardless, the Guardian prevented the Lucent HIVE and their raid leader, the HIVE Lightbearer Ir-Arat Trespasser, from claiming the relic. With the third party revealed to be the Lucent Brood, the Guardians worked in haste to search for the last relic, and they found it within an asteroid layer already besieged by the Lucent HIVE. In her haste and naivety, Ido secretly went ahead to collect the relic non-violently, and though she acquired the relic, the HIVE spotted her and gave chase, forcing the Guardian and Mithrax to battle through the layer with all speed to save Ido, forcing them to slay another HIVE Lightbearer, Hurakar Hordeseeker. Unfortunately, Ido found herself cornered by the Lucent HIVE, but to everyone's surprise, Eramis herself protected Ido as she safeguarded the relic. The Lucent HIVE ultimately failed to collect the last relic, as the last of their raid party was killed by Eramis. Following both Eramis and the Lucent Brood's failure to secure the relics of Nezarec, the HIVE War God would re-emerge once more to consolidate her power over the system and prepare for the Witness's invasion. To do so, Xivo Arath amassed her Wrathborn forces to seize control over the Warsat network in the wake of Rasputin's continued incapacitation. In addition, Xivo Arath assumed control over most of what was left of the House of Salvation, corrupting its members or resurrecting them as scorn, serving as a punishment for Eramis. Though Xivo Arath gained control over some of Rasputin's defense systems, the whole network remained out of reach, forcing the War God to target one of the Warmind's creators, Clovis Bray himself. Trapped as a stationary AI within the creation labs on Europa, the Guardians, under the direction of Anna Bray and the newly awakened Osiris, also go searching for Clovis Bray, as he was needed to restore Rasputin's central core systems. Though the Guardians were delayed due to some of the Warmind's defenses being used against them, they were nonetheless successful in rescuing Clovis from being subjugated by Xivo Arath's forces. With his main AI being transferred to a prototype exo-frame on the helm, Clovis reluctantly agreed to aid Anna and the Guardians in restoring Rasputin. He first directs the Guardians to an underground Seraph bunker on Luna, containing the main data of the submind Malahayati. Despite the heavy Wrathborn presence, the Guardians were successful in retrieving Malahayati. Next, with further aid from Marasov, the Guardians head to Earth, into another bunker containing the data and Warsat launch location. Despite Empress Cattle's earlier efforts, the bunker's Warmind defenses forces the Guardians to infiltrate the facility and gain the data they need. However, they cannot hold the facility, as they lack all data they need to launch them to the central hub of the Warsat network, the Seraph Station, a space station hovering in orbit over the last city. In time, Clovis decrypted the next submind needed, Charlemagne, deep within the vault on Mars. However, as they need Charlemagne intact, the Guardians make use of the time wounds found on the planet, windows into the Golden Age, which allows them to access Charlemagne's data in pristine condition. However, during this mission, the exo-stranger Alice Bray arrives to aid her sister, but immensely objects to Clovis Bray's involvement on the mission. Despite the argument, Elsie nonetheless agrees to aid in the mission, but continues to hold their grandfather under a watchful and suspicious eye. The Guardians meanwhile infiltrate the Mars facility, heavily infested with HIVE and Taken forces alike. Despite the Warmind's defenses impeding them, the Guardians manage to reach the vault with Anna and Elsie's aid, but would be forced to face an old and determined foe, Kelgorath, risen to serve Zevorath once more, and made into a dark blade. Yet, despite his strength and power, the Guardians slay Kelgorath again, allowing them to gain Charlemagne's data. In addition to gaining Charlemagne and Malahati's data, the Guardians were advised by Anna and Clovis to seek out a vault hidden within the Bray Patriarch's facility on Europa, beneath the Exoscience Labs, the Yggdrasil stack, to help them understand the submind frameworks and to merge it with their mainframe. As the Guardians infiltrated the labs, they encounter Warwatcher, Eye of Zevorath, a powerful HIVE Shrieker and commander within Zevorath's horde. Despite the Shrieker's power, the Guardians destroyed it, allowing them to gain access to the vault, and in the process temporarily blinding Zevorath on Europa. Eventually, the Guardians made preparations for when Rasputin would be ready to assume control over the network again. First, by preparing the Seraph Station to be more accessible for the Warmind, Elizabeth and Anna Bray developed a means that would make it easier for the Guardian to board the station once Rasputin is ready. By uploading a virus to the station's security mainframe, they would be able to infiltrate the station and upload the data of Malahati and Charlemagne, making it easier for when Rasputin is ready to assume control over the station. Using a system reboot, the Guardian was able to board the station without setting off any alarms or defenses, but find Salvation Fallen Splicers working under the direction of Zevorath's hive, led by Harakatha, the scourge of the helium drinkers. Elise surmises that the Splicers may have been tasked to hack the station's mainframe to make it easier for the Hive to corrupt and control the Warsat network. Bypassing the station's heightened security, slaying the Splicers, and eventually Harakatha himself, the Guardians reach the Nexus Control, the main hub of the station. There they battle with, to their surprise, another old foe risen again, Praxis, the Technocrat, now under the moniker The Defiled, and a scorn in service to the Witness. Despite Praxis' stasis powers, the Guardians manage to slay the former lieutenant of Aramis, allowing them to upload the virus and escape before reinforcements arrive. Ultimately, after Rasputin was repaired enough for him to speak to the Guardians directly and reveal Clovis's true intentions in aiding them, causing the Bray Patriarch to be cast out by his granddaughters, Marasov would suspect Zevorath's true strategy in corrupting the network. The War God was counting on the Guardians in restoring the Warmind's Warsat network, and use it against her Wrathborn in retaliation, thereby feeding her worm from all destruction and conflict. Further, the conflict would also serve as a fuel source for a ritual, one large enough to open a portal over Earth and send her endless legions on to overwhelm humanity, just as she had done to the Cabal on Tabatal. The Awoken Queen would bring those findings to the Guardian, Osiris, Rasputin, and the Vanguard, causing them to debate on their next move. Rasputin is uncertain, as being humanity's protector is his purpose, and not being a weapon is unknown to him, yet he cannot allow Aramis and her Splicers to hack into the network and use it against the last city, thus having the Guardians continue in infiltrating the vaults and collecting submind data. In the meantime, with Zavala, Mithrax, and Empress Cattle, informing them of Zevor Arath's true plan, Marasov reasons that they cannot restore the Warmind. Anna, however, interrupts and voices her objections, stating that humanity needs Rasputin, and that he is more than a weapon. Mara then suggests a compromise. Instead of having Rasputin smite the Wrathborn, they restore him as Anna wants, but he refrained from using his arsenal, creating a stalemate with the Hive god of war, denying Zevor Arath the requirements she needs for her ritual. Zavala and the other coalition members agree to the plan, leading the Guardian to continue in their infiltrations of the submine vaults and keeping Seraph Station secure. After many more weeks of collecting submine data and keeping the Hive at bay, Aramis would succeed in gaining access to one of Rasputin's most dangerous protocols, the Abhorrent Imperative, in order that all warsats target the Traveler directly, in the event the Traveler ever intended to leave humanity. Desperate and with little time, Rasputin has the Guardians take his Pillory engram to upload himself into Seraph Station and activate his Aura Sacrifice protocol, which will cause the warsats to self-destruct, but it also sacrifice himself in the process. As the Guardians battle with Aramis's House of Salvation, they made their way to the bridge where they encountered more of Zevor Arath's Hive, before ultimately clashing with Iragarza, the Scourge of Earth, as Rasputin uploaded himself into the station, and as Aramis slowly gained access to the warsats. Though the Guardians slayed Iragarza, Aramis succeeded in gaining access to the warsats, having them target the Traveler as it began to leave the last city. However, Rasputin succeeded in getting the warsats to self-destruct, saving the Traveler and thwarting Aramis's efforts. Yet, instead of leaving, the Traveler stays within Earth's outer orbit, with the Witness stating that it simply had no other place to run to. With the warsat network and the Warmind itself no more, rendering her ritual useless, Zevor Arath began to have her Hive pull back, but would still maintain a grip on Europa, causing the Guardians to continue operations to prevent the Hive from claiming the moon and corrupt what's left of Clovis Bray. So what did you guys think of the infiltration of the network? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.